Good morning off-grid fans. Look at me with my fancy new birthday present camera. It's nothing too fancy, just a Insta-Go. Here I am, next to the van and the bus. Look at the bus. It's looking a mess. But that's sort of 10 years younger. Well, it's a 2004 versus the camper that is 1995, and one day I'll maybe find the time and money to convert the bus. It had its window smashed when it was at the last place it was stored, and now it's here. Anyway, me and Freyja are off for a walk, and I am going to test out this camera and see how I find it. This is where we are at the moment. And oh, that's where Freyja shat last night. Right, I'll catch you up in a bit. I'm back. So yeah, I've got this camera a little bit earlier than my birthday, so I can take it on next week's little trip. So I've got a little venue tour to do. Hoping to lag an e-bike to be able to do more riding than I can just on the pedal bike. More exploring means I can look for more of the best bits at the new venues I'm going to look at. And one of the advantages of this Insta-Go, I've been quite jealous when I've seen racers use them, because I've never minded a GoPro on a full face, but I've always found that a camera on a half face helmet, which is my preferred helmet for riding, I've always found they're a little bit heavy and you can feel them making your helmet move around. So I'm hoping that this Insta-Go with its little pop-off bit that just then goes on the peak of your helmet and is very light, I'm hoping that'll mean I can do some stage previews and the like. So we'll have to see. Oh, my screen's gone off and I can't see. I'll assume it's recording. This is a bit of a test vlog for the new camera, see how the microphone is, see how it works. But yeah, I'm hoping to be able to do some videos of the potential stages at the potential venues, if only for me to look back on and remember, and sort of when I get to next year, I often do, when I'm doing my risk assessments, I do little videos to myself, so I can see what there is, so that when I'm then back at the van and writing down what I've seen, I can look at my notes, but also my video notes, and yeah, hopefully I kept filling up the camera and whatever. Hopefully having a camera that is separate and can plug straight into the computer. It's been a bit more hassle on the phone, and I'm all about making life easier, so maybe this will mean I can do that. And I know that some of the events we've missed the stage previews, like last year it was last minute when I managed to get Vinny to come up and do them for A, and often I have to get Jerry over to so we can do the stage previews. Jerry loves doing it. You should definitely go and subscribe to his Shite on a Bike channel, but yeah, Jerry definitely makes the stages look hard, which then when you get there and find they're easier, makes it easier for people, I hope. But yeah, not that I'll be ditching Jerry's Shite on a Bike previews, but sometimes we can't get them and sort them, and I've not been able to do them myself, but maybe, especially if I can sort myself an e-bike for next year to get out a bit more, ride a bit more, then we'll be able to make sure that there is a timely stage preview for every event next year, and that'll be one of the things that I'll use this camera for, although obviously at the moment I'm using it for a bit of vlogging. So, as well as testing the low light stabilisation of this camera, let's tell you a little bit about what's coming up on the channel, because I've a couple of unedited videos to sort. So one of them from way back at the end of May, where we did another, well, all the events at PMBA Enduro run on solar power. Sometimes I need a generator on the Sunday to get back up to power, but if you remember, Greenway this year was very, very sunny, so I've got that coming up. And I use that event to sort of challenge an Australian solar powered YouTuber, Andy from Andy's Garage, Off-Grid Garage Australia, and his 14 kilowatt solar system, basically in the middle of alright. Oh, it's one of her superpowers is sniffing pockets and looking cute.
There's often bin them in, but usually...
Yeah. She can tell a soft touch, that's what it is. Come on. Oh, so the screen's gone off again. Now what can I... Oh, there. So, yeah. Andy from Off-Grid Garage Australia, 14 kilowatts of solar, but solar in winter works less well. My 2 kilowatts of solar in summer, could I produce more power in a day than Andy? And I did, and it was more than a day. So anyway, I've got all those videos to edit, and just haven't had time since May with all the event stuff. So that's coming when I get some time to edit, and also the other week to sort of give me a complete break from enduro and sorting out next year's event after the season had finished. After the season had finished, then me and Rick and Tim, we did a straight line mission. Now they're a bit niche. I don't expect everyone to know what a straight line mission is, but yeah, one of those YouTube nichey things, and basically involves a bit of adventure, a bit of type 2 fun, and a bit of mild trespassing, because despite being a trail builder, a straight line mission goes where there is no path, because it goes, as it says, in a straight line, straight through fields, hedges, over walls, up hills at the wrong angle, through marshes, and we did 26 kilometres in a straight line across the Ribble Valley, across Forest of Bowland area of outstanding natural beauty. And yeah, I've got all the videos from that, and I'll be trying to get round to edit them. And that's also one of the things this next month of going looking at venues. We're obviously into the season of long nights, so I will try and do those editing. So you've that to look forward to on the channel, as well as any videos I do of I'm going to the 2 potential new venues, then on to a forest to do some more work on next year's national enduro champs, and then on to Croptree to do a bit more work on the Croptree event. So in that month on the road, then I'll hopefully have time to take you along for the ride, which I don't do during the race season because I'm just too busy. I always have the intention of doing it and doing more, and then I don't. So anyway, I'll put the camera away for a little bit, and when I pick it back up, I'll tell you a little bit more about next year's events, PMBA and BNES. Hey, look at me doing all YouTubery things, walking past the camera. Can you hear me now? It's a dead end over there, but that's the end of our well, then when we do this walk, that's the end of our walk. The old train viaduct over the River Calder, and yeah, there's a river on this side. But yeah, this really should be a cycling greenway. However, the holiday home people over there, which own this bit of the old railway track, they absolutely hate people. So there's a big ditch and a massive fence blocking it off, so that nobody can use this lovely off-road way to walk between Clayton and Simonstone, and instead have to go a longer way around. But when you've got this beautiful old railway bridge across the River Calder, it's a shame that more people can't use it. But yeah, it's about an hour and a quarter for me to walk here from home, so a nice 2.5 hour round trip walk for Freyja. So yeah, we like coming down here. But anyway, what were we talking about? Well, I promised to talk a little bit about PMBA and BNES and what we've got planned. So I was worried halfway through the year, especially after Llangollen lost a load of money, that I'd just not be able to find a way to sort a series for next year. But I have, and in some ways, losing Graithwaite for rewilding, the shall we say, it's not really political, we'll just say change of management at Gisborne that's resulted in Gisborne not being somewhere that I want to run enduros, and then Llangollen losing money. So basically I've lost Gisborne, Graithwaite and Llangollen, and yeah, but that has kicked me into gear to look at other places. I think in the long run, especially if everything comes off as I hope, I think in the long run we'll you know, I'm not saying we won't go back to Gisborne, we might do at one point. You know, when you've got incompetent people as managers, they don't last long, so we might get someone someone new. I don't think we'd ever get anyone as good as Martin. Martin had run Gisborne for 30 years. He was passionate for the volunteers, he was passionate for racing. He was there when I was racing NAMS before I started helping organise NAMS, but when I was racing NAMS in '93, he was one of the people that was there and making it happen at Gisborne, and he was one of the people that persuaded me to take racing back to Gisborne for the Escape to Gisborne, and use that to promote the forest. And you know, it is one of the Super 6 of Forestry England North, and yeah, Martin was behind that, and yeah, he's still one of the, he still goes to the volunteer dig days, even though he's you know, that's how passionate he is about the trails, whereas a new guy, well, you won't see him taking a day off to personally go and fix some trails. No, not at all. So anyway, all could be well that ends well, and I say 2 new venues to look at, and hopefully we'll have a right good do, and a bit of freshness into the series. 2 fresh venues, everyone likes something new, and yeah, very excited for that. So BNES, the Bemba National Enduro Series, I've been replying and engaging with people on the Pink Bike comments section, because a lot of people are confused as to what BNES is and what it isn't, and seem to think that it's something standalone with a load of money or whatever, but we are, you know, Bemba is a self-financing, well, basically volunteer group of enduro organisers that have come together to create a common rule book and sanction a national series, but there's no one pays anything in. Riders aren't getting a race licence, like you know, for downhill you need your race licence from BC, and then BC have some money to put back into the sport. Everything with Bemba is non-monetary. We all do it for the good of the sport, and some people put in a lot of time. I'd like to think I'm one of them, and some people just sort of accept that it's the closest thing to a national governing body and sign up and run their events by the guidelines that we've set out with the minimum standards and everything, so that racers know, you know, it's not a commercial thing, is Bemba. It's just something that the sport requires, because we don't have a national governing body. And some of the comments from people, oh, I should do this and do that and do a bit more of this, but to do that, either all the organisers have to chip in and fund it, and then there'd be all the, you know, bear in mind we're all our enduro organisers, although we do work very well together, we are also each other's competitors, so there is a bit of reluctance to spend one series' money to promote another series. But I personally think that the BNES series works really well. We get some of the, you know, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but we get some of the best events in the country, and we put them together into a points league, so that the top guys in the country have a national series and can race a national series and become, you know, the series champion with all the prestige and whatever. But it isn't a standalone thing. It is a collection of other events. So, you know, although I will promote BNES, most of my promotion for for next year will be for the round 5 of the BNES, the A Forest, and that's the national champs as well, and it does make it a bit more disjointed. I you know, don't get me wrong, I understand that it's a bit disjointed, but we do have, well, next year we have 5 organised and 6 rounds, with Tweedlove opening the series in Lagan and closing the series in Leithen. And you know, that's good. I mean, we've got a fantastic set of venues for the national series next year. You know, Lagan has had so much money spent with it recently, and the national series, since the demise of the Scottish Enduro series during COVID, and that's never really come back, which is a shame, because that was a great series. And actually, when I started doing the PMBAs in 2013, I was more modelling what PMBA would want to be, and the atmosphere at PMBA off the No Fuss events, that basically No Fuss became Scottish Enduro Series, or the Enduro bit of No Fuss became Scottish Enduro Series, and that the atmosphere, the priorities, the way those events were run, that's what I wanted PMBA Enduro to be like, more than sort of modelling off UKGE. You know, I always thought they were the better. So since we've had no Scottish Enduro Series, then we haven't had a Highlands round. Obviously we consistently have, and this is me who doesn't organise events in the Tweed, but the Tweed is, you know, acknowledged as Enduro Valley by many, and we've always had a round, and this year it'll be the final round. We've always had a round in Tweed Valley by Tweedlove, but to have a Highlands round back on the calendar, you know, fantastic. And we've got the 3rd year on the trot for Isle of Man. There was always a little bit of what will riders think for needing a ferry to get to one of the rounds of the British series, but the feedback from those who did go has always been immense. And yeah, it is a bit of a different format over there, and you get 2 days of racing, and really you need to go a bit early to also do the Thursday and Friday practice rather than just the race weekend. But if you are spending money on ferries to get over to the Isle of Man, then you probably want to go for a little bit longer and make that more worthwhile. So we sort of let Isle of Man get away with having a format that we really wouldn't allow for a mainland event, because we want a sort of standard 2-day format, race on the Saturday, practice on the Saturday, race on the Sunday, so that we're not competing against each other for who can do the most you know, odd format or whatever. It's a standard thing for the BNES, yeah. But anyway, Isle of Man obviously so 3 in Scotland, with my A Forest Nationals, Tweedlove final and Lagan. We've got so the Isle of Man, and then we've got Dovey, McKinlith, and you know, people do listen to rider feedback, and last year's rider said that the Welsh event wasn't long enough, so Bud's gone out and extended to another nearby venue, so we can have a bigger loop with bigger stages and more riding, you know, listening to people doing. So that's our Welsh round, and then Minehead. There's only really been Minehead that's been put forward as a southern event for the last few years, I know that Scott is working on other venues, and we do try and change, so maybe something will happen in the future on that one, and maybe one of my new venues I'm looking at. I mean, obviously we had A as a new venue last year, haven't been used since 2016, and then we might get one of these two. I've actually got a third as well to look at. Not as convinced, not for a big event, it might do for a smaller event, but maybe I'm wrong, maybe I just haven't seen the potential, so I've got to go and have a proper chat with the landowner there, and he's got some plans, he thinks it can work. Maybe I'm just being a bit pessimistic, but we'll see. But you know, maybe if Freyja, heel. Maybe if these new venues work out, then that'll also be a new venue for BNES, and I can move my BNES round around. So I've currently done BNES at Greenway and Grisdale, Greenway on its own. I've done it at Llangollen. Last year we did it at A, as just around, not the nationals. So yeah, sort of tying in with the changes to PMBA, could also be some new venues for the BNES. But I mean, you know, nothing's ever perfect, but I think enduro's in a good place. It's fairly stable. Everyone's working together. Many people. Freyja, come here. That noisy truck go. So yeah, I mean, I do think enduro's in a good place. I know the world enduro's had a bit of a rough year as it transitions to being under UCI and being sort of looped in with the XCO and XC and downhill, rather than being standalone events as it was in EWS, where it was just enduro, and some riders haven't liked that and thought it's devalued it a little bit. But hopefully they'll learn and improve, because having that UCI recognition, having it be a much more official form of cycling is, it is better for the long run. I mean, I came from a time when I was racing cross country back in the day, in early 90s, when the whole of mountain biking was not recognised as a proper form of cycling. It was all sorts of organisations trying to run mountain biking and having different rules, and I've got several sort of national championships as a lad, but no one will remember the League International, who were one of the people that put on a national mountain biking championships at Lyme Park, just south of Manchester, in '93, or the British Cyclocross Association, when it still wasn't properly embedded into what was then the British Cycling Federation, and they tried to sort of bring mountain biking into the fold of cyclocross. I mean, I was a cyclocross rider at the time, don't get me wrong. I love cyclocross, and was on the national team, and even my best international result of second to the then world junior champion at the Nations Cup is one of my on paper best results ever. Second in an international. Hey, I was captain of the B team for not even in the A team for Team GB, captain of the B team, and yet was second in that event. It just suited me. But you know, so cyclocross tried to take over mountain biking, and I won 2 mountain biking nationals by British Cyclocross Association. It was sort of short course mountain biking or mountain bike cyclocross in summer, but no one remembers them. So it'll be the same with Bemba, with BNES, not official. Eventually it will all disappear into the rule books and only the official champions. So to have enduro at a world level now recognised by the UCI, I think is good for the sport. It just needs to work a bit better. And eventually, hopefully, within enduro, then BC, or that line up as you want to get to UCI, hopefully BC will take more of an interest in enduro, sanction some national champs, maybe sanction some more events. But that's, you know, there'll be some short-term things to overcome, but it is where the sport needs to go, at least in my opinion. And as I say, from someone who has lived through or raced through unregulated mountain biking, you know, I mean, I did love the BNBF National Series sponsored by 7up in like 92, 91 and whatever, but no one remembers the BNBF. Eventually everything went into BCF, the British Cycling Federation, that then got rebranded as just BC without the F as British Cycling. And yeah, there's always issues. The bigger the national governing body and the more little offshoots of the sport they are, the more they can't concentrate on one little bit or don't understand every aspect. But it's still, you know, long term we need enduro to be a proper sport, and having some national governing body alignments and sanctioning will just have to come at some point. You know, I mean, riders now for the EDR, the Enduro World Series that UCI are putting on, they now need 125 points to race that. And at the moment, unlike many other countries around the world, there is no way to earn points in the UK because there are no events that are sanctioned, and that's not good for the top end of our sport. It's not good at all. So to you know, to take the bull by the horns and make it work, that's what we need to do. I mean, I've been speaking on and off with BC now since 2018, just keeping them in the loop, trying to be there for when that time comes, and it's the right time, and do it right, and do it so that the sport gets as many of the benefits as possible without too many negatives. So that's, you know, that's what I'll be doing. That's what I want. I want this sport to blossom, to reach its potential, for it to be good for the grassroots, to be good at national level for our world stars. And you know, when you look at the enduro world and when you look at how many of those top riders or Brits, there's a lot of them, so they need it as well. They need us to sort it out and make it official and get it all sorted. Anyway, I've waffled on for long enough. Well, that should give me enough content to play around with this Insta editor, so I have half an idea what I'm doing and see what the sound quality is like. And if you're listening to this, then obviously I didn't do anything majorly wrong and I managed to find some time to edit it up. And yeah, cheers. Maybe next time I see you I'll be still at the top of a stage on a new venue. Anyway, cheers, thank you.
Here comes Gandalf, fully dressed.